Hi friends, it's Lynette with The Holy Mess, and if this video does like our video last night on the membership group, my comments are going to give me troubles. I don't know why they were being so cranky, but they were. I'm putting a question in here for you to answer. Let me get this wrote out. And as you come into the group, answer this question. And I'll answer it right now. I'm about to get it sent. All right. And the question is, hey, Tammy Joy. Oh, sister, same. We really need to live down the road from each other, don't we? As you come in, answer this question. Do you struggle to lose weight even if you're eating less? Yes. Yes, I do. Especially if I super restrict my foods, it seems like, or even the idea of super restricting my foods. There we go. I see Tammy Joy and Susie and Leanna. Hey, Brenda. Come on in. You know, this is just like in the video in the membership last night. It's showing one viewer. I don't know. I tell you, Facebook's just full wonky sometimes. Absolutely just wonky. So, thank yous for joining, and I'll keep refreshing these comments because apparently it's not going to do it on its own. So, who knows? It just does what it does when it does. That's how, and now there comes Betsy and Robin and Carol and yes and yes and yes, and Kathy says yes, Brenda yes, yes, Cindy yes, Donna yes, yes, yes. Yes is all around. Actually, tonight what we're going to talk about is sugar. And this, I can't give you medical advice, so I'm going to put that disclaimer up here. This is not medical advice. It's just what I've researched, what I've learned, and does not apply to diabetics. By all means, everybody do what their doctor tells them to do. It's just that I have learned some interesting things about sugar. And a lot of it comes from my own experience with fibro and my own ginormous sweet tooth. And I know there's a link between too much sugar and inflammation. I knew that link was there. I knew that personally, and I looked up, there's research that when I eat too much sugar and simple carbohydrates like that, my weight fluctuates wildly, overnight even. So I knew that much. But I got to researching what really is happening that affects our body when we get too much sugar. And yes, this come after eating too many cookies one night. And the next morning, of course, the weather's not been good, but my skin's still sore. I was so sore, I couldn't even stand like hardly the water in the shower to hit me. So that's honestly what got me to looking into this about what's going on. Why does our bodies respond this way, and does sugar actually hurt our body, and does it, other than increase calories, does it hamper our weight loss? And I found a lot of interesting things I'll share with you. Let me refresh my comments and see who else has come in. Yes, Robin, I agree. Donna, he won't pull your sweet tooth. Oh, I'm proud, Kathy. Your watermelon was good. I cut one today, and I asked my husband, I said, we're going to even try to salvage this. It had no flavor at all, and it was a pretty melon. Wish mine was sweet. Now, hi, Elvina. I didn't know you'd come in. Hello, Jan. Good. Leanna says she can gain weight even when eating on track. And that is so frustrating, isn't it? Even when eating on track. So I'm going to show you really quick what we're doing in the membership for the month of June when I find it. If you're in the membership, and if you're not in the membership and you want to join, by all means, we would love to have you in the membership. What the membership is basically challenges every month. And, you know, we have done challenges several times over the years, and usually 2 or 3 challenges a year. When you're in the membership, you are in a gentle challenge one month and a harder challenge the next month. We call the first month of our challenge a learn and grow month. It's a gentle challenge. The next month we dig in a little deeper. So what we're working on in June is smart swaps, and it's a healthy plate makeover. Like I'll read one of the daily tasks you could do. Instead of a sweet treat, go for natural sugar such as frozen grapes, blueberries, or banana slices. That's a simple swap that saves calories and is healthier. Then this is getting us prepared for something a lot of people have asked for. In July, we're going to be working on sugar. So this kind of goes hand in hand to what's coming up with June and July. And I see a couple more comments. Heather says yes, the same. And let me see if anybody else has commented. These comments just don't want to play. Hello, Abby. There's my daughter-in-law. Mwah! Blow you kisses. Okay, it does matter natural sugar versus added sugar. When you're looking at, I've just got some of these little Tampico drink sticks here. I'll show you that. When you're looking at a nutrition label, it will show you total sugars. Right here, total sugars. Now, this is sugar-free, so it has none. But if this was, say, a candy bar, let's just go with that, it might say 39 grams of sugar total, and 38 grams is added sugar. Now, that's just an example. Watermelon, fruit, bananas, dairy has lactose. That's a sugar. Those are natural sugars. The refined sugar is what really causes this process in our body because it's added to our whole food and not natural. But I noticed after overdoing on oatmeal raisin cookies that not only did I hurt worse, my skin was so sore. So that's what got me to digging and looking at what happens. And actually, I can't remember the word, something like glycination or something like that. But like drinking and smoking, things like that that can age us, sugar consumption can do the same thing. Too much sugar. You know, the lines we get up through here on our lips, that can be related to too much sugar consumption too. I always think they're smoking or straws or some old person that just sit all puckered up all the time. Not necessarily. That can be a sign of too much sugar in our diet as we get older. So I've got enough going on. I don't need to make it worse. So I've got a graphic here to show you what happens when we put sugar in our body. I wish it affected me like it does kids. You know, kids, they'll get a little sugar and they go bonkers. For some reason that doesn't work for old people. And I don't know why. How that I wish that it worked that way for me. All right. How sugar affects your body, step by step. Right there's that little cube of sugar. We take in the sugar. Our natural body's response is our insulin spikes. That's normal for your insulin to go up. So like if I go eat a cookie or 2 or 3 or 4, my insulin is going to say, I need more insulin because she's tucked in more sugar. I need to process this sugar. My pancreas is going to throw out some more insulin so that I keep a normal blood sugar. Oh, the dreaded crash. Then, after a while, it's like, oh, I don't feel so good. Followed by, oh, now I'm really hungry. Because guess what? As much as I love a Diet Coke and a candy bar, or a oatmeal raisin cookie, or a chocolate chip cookie, or a piece of pie, as much as I love all those things, that's not nutrition. So my body knows it hasn't been given proper fuel. And it's working overtime to burn that sugar. So I crash and I get hungry. And keep going down your loop to the second line. Then when we're hungry, we want to overeat instead of eat a natural amount or the amount we had planned. Hunger can often lead to overeating because we want to feel better. Our body's saying, hey, something's wrong, I'm crashing. And it's telling us eat because you're hungry. So we overeat, which in our little brain, our dopamine response, that trigger is pulled. It's actually pulled up here with the sugar. And in our brain, all the chemicals are changing, and our brain says, ooh, you've overeat, and you don't feel really good. What could we do to make it better? What could we do, indeed, to make it better? I know. Let's eat more sugar. That's how my brain works for sure, I think, sometimes. So then we overeat, we've overindulged, and that leads to fat storage because our body can't burn all that we've thrown at it. And that's where, it doesn't matter if you're keto, Weight Watchers, calories, whatever eating plan you've chosen, weight loss comes from being in a calorie deficit. Every time at the end of the day, you have to be in a calorie deficit. Now I finally got my comments to refresh. Hi, Julia. Oh, it keeps bumping you off, Heather. I'm sorry. Stephanie, yes, me too. Sugar leads me down a dark path, like an alcoholic, I think. Lynette says she struggles to lose weight, but have maintained. Maintaining is very good. That is very good. So let's break this cycle apart now that we know what the cycle is. This insulin surge that we get is what leads to fat storage. So when we eat sugar, such as refined sugar, added sugar, and not the dairy, like it may say 2 grams sugar, but it's the added. Look at what they've put into it when they made it. That's what we're talking about, added sugar. When you eat that added sugar, your blood glucose will go up. That's normal. Your pancreas releases insulin to bring that sugar level down to a tolerable level. But this is the snag in it. When there's too much sugar, more than what you can use for energy, and carbohydrates, I've seen somebody ask about carbohydrates and energy. Yes, carbohydrates complex is good for building energy in us. But when there's too much sugar, more than our cells need for energy, insulin tells your body, we've got to do something with this. What are we going to do with it? And your body says, I know, let's store it as fat. Oh my, and it all started with a cookie. Wow. So that's how we end up storing fat. Now what they talk about when you go real deep medically is visceral fat. And visceral fat is what is on our insides. We're going to go into that too. Over time, repeating this cycle over and over, your body gets what they call insulin resistant. It means that how much insulin you needed to handle one cookie, after doing this fat storage thing over and over again, now you need more insulin to handle that one cookie. So our body gets less sensitive to the insulin. and you need more to do the same job, which more insulin makes us store more fat. So there is something behind eating good, doing good, and still not losing weight. Now, insulin often leads our blood sugar to crash. That's its job in our body, is to bring down our blood sugar, hopefully just to a nice normal level. But when it drops too fast, your brain says, and this is even if you just eat, like you may have just eaten a candy bar, we'll say, and insulin is released by the pancreas. It's going around hunting what it can do to bring down that blood sugar. And your brain says, I need some energy. I need some food, and I need it fast. Sugar does not satisfy hunger for the long haul. That's why you can eat a cookie and eat a cookie and eat a cookie and eat a cookie and go out and eat a big dinner, because it's literal junk. And I am a junk food fan. I mean, I'm pointing at myself on this. I love candy and sweets. I have a terrible sweet tooth. And like you said, the dentist will not find that sweet tooth and pull it out for nothing. It's getting a little stuffy in my little room. Turn my fan on here. So we eat because our brain said, I need some energy. So we eat sugar, we crash, we crave, we repeat. This keeps us in an overeating loop, and particularly high calorie, low nutrient foods. That's whole foods, as much whole foods as we can get in, as least processed as possible. That is actually what is best for us. As bad as I hate to admit that, I guess, that is what's the healthiest for us. I'm working on my comments again. It says something's went wrong. All right. Michelle says, I struggle to eat less, but when I do, you lose weight. Yes. Tammy Joy says she has severe insulin resistance. Really, your insulin levels are through the roof. Salty things. Yes, salty things can make us crave more salty things. Yes, Becky, I so get what you're saying. Sugar begets more sugar, and more sugar begets more sugar. Yes, pineapple's good for a lot of things. Tammy Joy says carbs doesn't give her energy. Well, mine's short-lived when I get it. It comes in a short burst. So that keeps us in the overeating loop, the way insulin works in our body. Now we're going to introduce two more friends to insulin. There's two little fellers running around. They're hormones called leptin and ghrelin. G-H-R-E-L-I-N. Leptin, L-E-P-T-I-N, and ghrelin. I wish I had a ton of leptin and very little ghrelin. Leptin tells our brains we're full. Ghrelin, which makes me think of gremlins for some reason, the gremlin ghrelin tells your brain you're hungry. Now, that's normal. That's how our body's supposed to work. Leptin's supposed to send a signal and say, you're full. Ghrelin supposed to send a signal, says you're hungry. Okay, what goes wrong with excess sugar consumption is we get leptin resistance, which means your brain stops hearing the I'm full signal. Leptin is out there saying, you're full, stop eating, you're full, but your brain doesn't hear it or doesn't process it. Now, this is where we get into that mindless eating and larger portions. Now, gut health. That's a catchphrase today. That's good. That's this tropical punch stuff. That's pretty good. And no sugar. High sugar diet leads to chronic inflammation in our body that often can affect our digestion, our joints, and yes, our metabolism, unfortunately. Sugar is so good to do so much that's not good, isn't it? Sugar can feed the bad bacteria in our gut, candida is one of the not good bacterias, and it's called a microbiome, which is what your gut health should be. It should be natural. Too much sugar disrupts our natural gut health. And fructose. Fructose is found in many added sugars, and where I'm going here, not the sugar that's in fruit, but high fructose corn syrup. It's very processed. There's nothing good in it. And I've actually had a couple of people this week to ask me about fatty liver disease. And we've had a discussion here at home about it. And fatty liver disease, you remember me saying that when you get too much insulin and your body says, let's store some of this as fat, and it goes as visceral fat on the inside, the liver often can become what they call a fatty liver. And the term right now, they're talking about changing the term. You know how they're always, where do we get that leptin? I don't know, but I want it. I want leptin. I want to leap in the field of leptin and roll in it. I'll have to look that up, how to increase our leptin levels. Apparently, stay away from sugar will help. When overloaded, the liver turns fructose, that corn syrup, and you cannot hardly pick up anything and look on it that it doesn't have a corn syrup somewhere in it. When you go to the supermarket next time, just read some labels and see if you can find added sugar and see if it's fructose or corn syrup. It's in so many of our foods. But the liver looks at this fructose and turns it into fat, which causes non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. It affects people who, it has nothing to do with drinking alcohol, and you can develop cirrhosis of the liver. They call that NASH, non-alcoholic. Here comes one of them $10 words. Statohepatitis. Something like that, statohepatitis. Basically, it causes non-alcoholic liver disease, is what a fatty liver causes. Now, when I was probably, I don't know, 30, it was before I had Natalie, so I'm going to say late 20s, the doctor thought I was having gallbladder trouble because I was having pain in the liver area, and he sent me for an ultrasound, and they said then I had a fatty liver. Now, in that amount of time, I packed on at least 150 more pounds from that time to my highest weight. So even though it wasn't checked, I'm sure my liver got much fattier as I aged. And I recently had to have an abdominal CT, or not a CT, abdominal ultrasound. And despite having lost weight, having got to a normal healthy weight, I still have a slightly fatty liver. The doctor hasn't called about it yet. I don't think it's a problem. But, you know, that was something I had wondered about is, does the inside fat that's stuck like on my heart or stuck on my liver, do you shed that too? Well, apparently you do, but not completely. Yes, HFCS, Tammy Joy says, high fructose corn syrup. Finding ketchup, there is some sugar-free ketchups, but boy, you got to really read that label. And often they have more calories than regular ketchup. Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. I was up too early this morning. For some reason, I can't sleep late of a morning anymore, and I don't like that. What the non-alcoholic liver disease does, it causes the liver to swell, which is become enlarged, and it starts damaging the liver due to fat deposits. Some people, it gets really bad, and they end up with full-on cirrhosis or even liver cancer. So, if you're ever told you have a fatty liver, you don't have to freak out about it, but it's your body saying, uh-oh, Something's not working right. I wished I had realized that before I was 30 instead of after I was 50. But I know it now, so that's all that counts. Um, this fatty liver, guess what it does? It worsens insulin resistance, and it slows down our metabolism and makes losing weight even more difficult. Another thing that happens when we get too much sugar, I said a while ago, if we could only be like kids and eat a little sugar and get a little energy, how very, very nice that would be. It doesn't work that way for me, and I bet it doesn't for anybody else either. But we do get mood swings due to the rapid increase and decrease in our blood sugar levels. And that can cause us to be tired, mildly depressed, no energy. And you know what? I've learned this whenever my fibro flares, especially if I've eaten too much sugar, no energy, no desire to be active, which means you turn to food for that temporary lift. So it's really just a vicious cycle. We're kind of like hamsters on a wheel. And I love sugar. I do, truly. I absolutely love it. Tammy Joy says she was told if non-alcoholic fatty liver disease grade 1 or 2 is reversible, grades 3 and 4 are not. That's good information to know. Yes, Robin, you're right. Barbecue sauce. If you you can't sleep either, Martha. I used to could sleep till 10 or 11 o'clock, and I've been up like before 5 and before 6 way too many mornings in the last week or so. I at least like to sleep till 7. That's a little more tolerable. Yes, look on your labels. Just one day when you go to a grocery store, Dollar Tree, it doesn't matter. You don't have to buy anything. Just go and start reading your labels and comparing added sugar and looking at where it's at. Look at things that say it's healthy and see what it's got in it. It's quite the education when you go and start looking for things that are not added sugar. We did this one day in the challenge last summer on added sugar, and we were all very surprised. So, I want to know, how much added sugar should I have in a day? It recommends, if you're trying to lose weight loss, if you're aiming for weight loss, keep your added sugar, this is added, under like 20-22 for women. So that gives you some kind of idea. If you're tracking in a mobile app, it'll give you added sugar. If I eat correctly, my added sugar isn't that bad. Sometimes it's even in single digits. So we can control it if we watch it. Eating oatmeal raisin cookies does not contribute to a low added sugar. It contributes to insulin resistance, I'll tell you that. Our crumbs from the table tonight is a verse that we used back a few months ago, but I couldn't think of a verse any more fitting for this than this verse. Proverbs 25:27. It is not good to eat too much honey, nor is it glorious to seek one's own glory. The Bible even tells us excess sweets can become harmful. Anything that's good for us can become harmful if taken to excess. So the Word encourages us. It doesn't say don't ever eat honey. It doesn't say that at all. It's not good to eat too much honey. So balance and self-control, it comes back into that. And this week, work on your added sugar. Just like I say, one day when you're not in a hurry, go to the grocery store, check out fat-free salad dressings, things that says healthy, and see what you find. Because when you start reading them, oh my, it's scary. I'm having to refresh my comment section again to get it to refresh. Yes. So, all right, there. Now it finally refreshed. Okay, gang. I'm going to hop off of here. I hope this has been enlightening, if nothing else. And here is, one more time, the sugar cycle. We eat it. Our body releases insulin, which is normal. It drops our sugar too quick and we crash. Then we get hungry and come on around. And because we're hungry, we're craving and we're wanting. So we overeat, which makes our body start craving things, which leads to fat storage. So it is literally a vicious cycle. When we say we go down a dark road, we truly do. All right, my friends, I will talk to you next time, and be sure to catch Faithful Fridays. Check out the membership if you're not in it and you're interested. July is when we really dig in for the added sugars and work on that. But we start making swaps in June. So come join us. We're having a good time over in that group too. Bye, everyone.